How's it going? How's it going, Alex?
Hi Josh, we had our opening night for Hello World.
That's your play about VR, right? Or is it a VR play?
It's a play which uses VR. It's not really about VR, though our marketing has been about VR. It's a play that includes. Let me see if I can get a good one. Hang on. Do you know what a Google Cardboard is?
A Google Cardboard? No. What's a Google Cardboard?
Are you serious? You don't know what a Google Cardboard is?
No, I'm silly, but I still don't know what a Google Cardboard is.
Okay, this is a Google Cardboard, okay? It's a cardboard box with lenses, which Google made. You open it like this. You put your phone in there. What's that, a motorcycle? You put your phone in there. You close it up, okay? And then your phone has 360 video that's formatted to play for the Google Cardboard, and when you put this on your head, it's an immersive video experience unlike anything you've seen. Do you know what 360 video is, Josh?
Yes, I met some 360 filmmakers who came and did a film of a music concert.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's really low-hanging fruit for those filmmakers. It's good. That's where it's at, because they can shoot on stage and in the crowd. Did they just set it up? They just set up their camera, right?
Yeah, they set up 4 cameras around the perimeter of the front of the stage, and they moved the cameras after about halfway through the show to a different configuration.
Yeah, moving those cameras can be tricky because if you're because anything that holds the cameras will be visible, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm setting up my 360 camera right now, and I plan to use it in this conversation.
You plan to use it right now?
Yes, I plan. You can see me, right, on my onboard camera, right?
I can see a flattened version of you, and now you're going to add another camera.
Well, it'll still be flat, but you'll see. Hang on. This is my 360 camera. It's a Ryko Theta S. You can't see it very well, but there it is. You see there's 2 very wide angle lenses, 2 180 lenses. Okay, I'm going to plug that into my computer.
And tell us how you're going to use this.
Right now, I'm just going to use it to stream my video to my computer in place of my, my webcam, so that you see what this camera sees. And it'll give you a weird view all around the room, and you can see how bloody messy my room is, and then I won't feel as bad about speaking to you as I clean my room.
But we'll be inside your camera.
You'll be inside. Your view will be, of course, from the view of the camera.
My view will be from the view of the camera.
Yeah, it's gonna, you'll be where the camera is. It's always that way.
But it's your view that you're giving to my view from within the camera.
I am choosing the placement of the camera.
So it's our view. This is going to be a co-generative viewing.
Well, yeah. Wait, co-generative, does that mean we both created?
I think it does.
Well, then no, it isn't, because you have no control over where this camera goes, do you?
But I am the one who's seeing. Or I'm one of, wait, we're both seeing, though. We'll both see that perspective, right?
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey!
Oh.
This is everything in my room. Look how messy my room is. Kind of looks like a Beastie Boys video, right? See, watch this. Hello? Watch this. Watch this. Here we go. And if I go like this, and I can reach all the way around, I'm actually reaching around. It looks like I'm reaching to the side, but if I reach around the camera, look, see my hand starts to creep the other side. Ah! Did that look good? Okay, so
That's great. That's great.
That's fun. So I'll explain a little further. If you take a look at, wait, hang on, what? Here, let's do it. Let's do one of these. Whoa, what? Look, ew. So think about the world, okay? The world map is right here. Well, no,
you've got it. You've got it too.
This is Europe, but
okay.
If you think about the world, okay, there's the
part of the world.
Look, there's the world map, and then there's the globe, right? So the globe is more accurate, right? Because the world is a sphere, as far as we know. But when you look at the world map,
there are some flat earthers. Do you know that there are flat earthers?
Yeah, I've heard about that, but whatever.
All right, so yeah.
So you've got the globe, and that's a sphere. And this camera shoots the inside of a sphere, right? So the format of this video that you're watching now is identical to the sort of projection that you get when you think of that rectangular world map. Okay, you're turning a sphere into a rectangle.
Sure, sure.
And you know how Greenland is huge and Antarctica spans the whole bottom of the thing?
Yeah.
But think about Antarctica. It's just more of a circle at the bottom. But once you cut the sphere open, spread it out and distort it, it goes that way, right?
Right.
This is called an equirectangular projection, and you're looking at the sphere that this camera shoots in an equirectangular projection. So if I put my hand all the way up here, it'll soon start to distort and flay out, and now it's above the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird, right? Another thing about spherical video, because you asked, and, with this camera, you saw the two 180 lenses, right? Well, this is those two images are stitched together. You know, like if you were gonna hand make your own panorama, you'd take this photo, this photo, this photo, and stitch them together by hand, right?
Sure. Yeah, stitching software.
Yeah, yeah. So this is automatically stitched together. But you saw the architecture of the camera. There's actually a tiny bit of space, which is the width of the camera, the thickness of the camera, between the two lenses, right? So that creates a blind spot because there's no lens to see that, right? The camera isn't necessarily designed to capture its own image anyway. So that creates a blind spot, and when we stitch the two 180s together in the theta, it creates a stitched line. Watch this. You see how I'm kind of messed up now?
Yeah. There's your stitch line. That wasn't there before. Yeah, you haven't always had that line. I've seen you lots of times. You don't always have that.
No, only when I'm perpendicular to the view of the theta S. So if you think about that when it comes to lighting, you'll realize that, well, if you look at this, can you see the ceiling? No, not really. But if you look at the ceiling, like in a Google Cardboard view, you look up, think about the lighting. The light will move across a gradient, right? It'll grade across the ceiling. But if you have a stitch line, that grade will jump, and there'll be a very stark pop in the grade of the lighting, right? So you want to set your stitch line perpendicular to your light source so that it blends more naturally. You know what I'm talking about?
I hear you, boss. So how are you integrating this into the action of your play?
Our play uses, frankly, our play uses this.
What's the play titled again?
It's called Hello World.
Hello World. All right. So in Hello World.
You get the joke? I don't think you do.
I don't think I do. I don't think I do, but that's okay.
I'll explain.
Thank you.
We're the first play ever to use virtual reality, ever.
Oh, hello, world.
Exactly. Anyone who's made a C-based program or a WordPress blog knows that the first iteration is called Hello World.
Ah.
And
Hacker speak. Code speak.
yeah.
Hipster speak.
No, not well, I don't care. Whatever.
Okay, so then how do you integrate this into the play?
We integrate this into the play. Well, we use this a bit like, well, when people walk into the house, they get a Google Cardboard, and when they buy a ticket online, they get an email linking them to a download page for the app that they need. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they get to the house, they bring their own earbuds and they're handed a Google Cardboard, and we have a little Wi-Fi network set up in the theater house called Hello World, and you log into Hello World and you use that to download our video content. Now you don't really you don't have to pay for that download because it's a local Wi-Fi thing. Then you've got the content loaded on your unit.
The video content is delivered as a live stream?
We tried that on our preview, but the load was too heavy for our server, and the whole thing crashed pretty hard. So for opening, we asked everyone to download the file itself, which is about 300 megabytes. Everyone had space, and then they play it, and the way it works, to answer your question, is that it starts with us on stage. We're on stage, and then we hit a black light, and then the Google Cardboards light up because we've actually hit them with highlighter. And some old Raymond Scott like techno music plays, because he invented, you know Raymond Scott?
No.
No, you do, because he's the guy that played, he wrote that song, da 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 da.
I love that song. You know I love that song.
Yeah.
We both love that song. So that's Raymond Scott.
That's Raymond Scott, but he also wrote a whole bunch of techno in the 50s.
What? 50s techno?
60s techno. By
60s.
Dude, by Switchboard. He was making techno before Texas Instruments created the integrated circuit. But anyway, we play some of his Manhattan Research Project music, and this thing flies in, and then a plant from the audience picks it up and goes into it, and then that's our cue for everyone to go inside, and
your alarm's going off.
I know. So we'll have one scene on stage and another scene in VR, and then another scene on stage and another scene in VR. A lot of fun. We divided this play. And we made the play, we figured out the tech, and we made the play, you know, and then we rehearsed the play, because devising and rehearsal are two very separate processes. We did all that in 2.5 months.
Wow.
Which is part brag and part confession.
That's incredible. No, that's incredible. You should be bragging.
Well, yes, I am, but I'm also confessing, because it's a mistake that I've made twice now since I got here to LA, which is to produce in a compressed timetable out of necessity, out of a perceived necessity, because the venue was free. You can make a show, if you can make a show for free, well, for free. You can have a free performance space if you can do it in 2 months. The answer is yes.
But you're saying that you're familiar with the compromises that come along with that kind of process out of compressed necessity.
Shall we discuss them?
Well, I think we're both familiar with having to produce in these kinds of circumstances. You know, the opportunity arises, and you have to make that choice of like, am I going to embrace this and do it all the way? And then you start running into, you know, you start willing to sacrifice things to make it happen, right?
Boy, I sacrifice. But you know, I mean, not to take anything away from the hard work that everyone's done, because we've all done very well. But I will say it's similar to the question of quality versus quantity, because it means we can make another play. The quantity of plays you make is greater. Mm. But we all imagined many things for this play that haven't happened because we were out of scope. And I've learned that out of scope is something that software developers and their project managers often have to wrestle with, because, you know, you want to make something, you make it like this. But the real thing is like this. And you have to make sure that this is closer to the creative core, the center, than something else that could have been. You know, you have to make sure that you at least present the core.
Well, how do you hold that space within those kind of confined production circumstances?
Well, one bloody way to do it is to just pick up a script and work with that, wouldn't it? That'd be nice and easy.
Scripts. You know, you and I, we both been through devising a lot, and it's helped me appreciate scripts because they become the contract, the just agreement, the creative agreement, and so everybody does start on the same page, right?
Yeah. So, well, I'd say that picking up a script, in my mind, like now, it's really more about, it's not about, I mean, yes, it's a creative process, of course, but it's like, I mean, right now, I feel like making last play we did was Andy's World, and that play was fucking bonkers, and it was a lot of fun, and people loved it. But
more code speak?
Sorry?
Andy's World? Hello World? Alex's World?
I was thinking our next show could be called Worldy's World.
It could be. That could be the next one.
Well, it was Andy's World, and
that was a blast.
It was a blast.
You were pleased with the creative outcome as well.
Yes, but there was this like, oh, we really, you know, we went too fast, we compressed time frame thing going on. But regardless of that,
you're innovating, man. You're trailblazing here, right, in Hello World.
Well, with Andy's World, we also innovated because we devised based on solo processes. Like, I went to every cast member and said, what play do you want to make? What play do you want to make? What play do you want to make? We worked on that a little bit, and then we smashed them all together, okay?
Love it. Love it.
That shit was wild. This play was, okay, let's take it easy. Let's just adapt a story that exists. Well, let's adapt a framework for a story that exists, the Hero with 1,000 Faces.
But we're already starting to get further away from what the story is, right?
Well, we said, let's do the Hero with 1,000 Faces. Let's not totally concede and just pick up a script and do it. Let's pick up a framework for a story and make our own story, but use somebody else's guide, someone else's historical observations, you know? Hero with 1,000 Faces. And we were going to do that, and everything was going to be fine until I discovered VR the day after registering for the Fringe, and I'm like, oh, now we have to do this. So it was a double whammy. It was devising, which ended up being not that much simpler with the framework, and researching this new technology and actually developing new technology. And our production team had to develop software to make this play happen because it hasn't been made yet. And I'll tell you what I mean. A Google Cardboard is a one computer event, right? But if you wanted to share it with others, to simultaneously stream Google Cardboard, as you said and as we said, I'm not aware of any software for group cardboard viewing. We did the research, we couldn't find any. That's one of the clues I have that no one is doing VR plays. You know?
Right. And yet VR, it seems like it's more theatrical than cinematic.
Josh, you're going to love this. Do you know where the term VR, virtual reality, comes from, dude?
Probably something that George Carlin said.
Older.
Probably something that Aldous Huxley said.
Closer.
It's probably something that Neil Patrick Harris said.
No. How about this? I'll give you one more clue, okay? You could have read about it in Iowa. You could have read the coining of the term virtual reality in Iowa. In fact, I bet you did. Or maybe you read it at Stony Brook. But I bet you reread it in Iowa.
Why is that?
Because
Why Iowa?
Because that term was created by none other than fucking Artaud, dude.
Virtual reality is a term created by Antonin Artaud.
That's right. In The Theater and Its Double, he describes the stage play as a virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that shit? Isn't that crazy? So
Signaling through the flames, yes? Signaling through the flames. That's that book.
Okay. I don't know it so well. I only read it twice. But yeah, man. So maybe we should do The Spurt of Blood next as a VR experience.
The Spurt of Blood.
Yeah, one of his plays. Can you imagine an Artaud play in VR? That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
I should start reading his shit again.
Your room is a lot cleaner. It might just be my virtual perception, but there might be some some distortion at the edges here for me. But I feel like it seems a lot cleaner.
Thank you. It's getting there. So
and your pants have assumed many different positions.
That's right. As do I. but dude, if you want to talk about theatricality in VR, like, I think you're right. I think the 360 video endeavor.
It's more like bringing the stage to people, and then there's the live stream broadcast aspect is also going to allow for a lot of like educational applications, therapeutic applications, and possibly the end of commuting. There's the post-peak oil thing, is like, if you can just VR in for the meeting and feel like you're sitting in the meeting room with everybody, then why book that flight to China?
Well, most people in the tech world already do exactly that. A lot of people in the tech industry, they have meetings. They have meetings all day. They meet with their bosses. They meet with their peers. They meet with their clients via Google Hangout, the way we are. I mean, we're already doing it.
Oh my gosh, we are in the future.
Yes, welcome. Say hello to the world.
But you're saying the Silicon Valley peeps are already scheduled in this way. They've got connects to different people in different zones, and they're all on the same.
Silicon Valley peeps are no longer in Silicon Valley because they don't have to be.
So how does this flow to the proverbial end user? Not the Silicon Valley peeps who are fulfilling the promise of mobility, the promise of technological mobility, you know, work from anywhere, live from anywhere, that kind of liberation. But how does that impact larger lifestyle, you know, larger lifestyle opportunities? Like if you just went all the way out that window and you kept walking, could you survive because you have a Google Cardboard? Or do you need a life straw? Or do you also need like a really good headlamp? Where is this going to take us?
Well,
can I live out of a van and be a normal person with a job?
Dude, so many people are doing that already.
Mm-hmm.
As long as labor can be done from a computer.
Uh-huh.
But you're saying, can people do their job with VR and not just sit down computing? Well,
I mean, I'm not sure I want that either. I mean, how many screens do we have to bring with us throughout our lives? You know, like how many screens do we have to keep track of? And how much time do we have to spend in front of the screens rather than, I don't know, like this is really nice. I'm enjoying our discussion this way. There's no substitute, as Eric N spoke about a lot in his kind of dramaturgy of virtual reality and tech. Like even though in the way that like Dave Chalmers talks about, the interactions in virtual realms are real. They have real implications. Like you just made me laugh because of that. But at the same time, what N was saying was like, there's no substitute for actually sitting and having coffee with the person or taking a bike ride together, right? Or taking a walk together, you know?
Well, don't tell that to Pornhub, because Pornhub is really leading the way in the software development. Pornhub has got, you know, VR porn where you can go in and fucking go in and
yeah, but you can't smell. You can't smell the perfume.
You know, one of the earliest
you can't touch the skin. You know, you can't touch the other person's skin.
One of the earlier VR things was a sensoscope. It was a big box you stick your head in, I don't know, Fluskies or something. A sensoscope, and it blasted scents at you as part of your experience. I mean, yeah, of course, there's no substitute, but
I don't know. I just don't know if I want to be blasted at, you know, like that. I could conceive of also, you know, thermal suits that have that can convey and compose vibrational settings and patterns.
You mean like a bubble pad in an N64?
Kind of like that dance pad thing that they had, but you could have a suit and it would change temperatures, and it would also kind of like give sensation based on what the stimulation that it's being sent from remote operation. You know, so you could send other people that kind of physical pleasure, I guess. You could make certain parts of their body warm or certain parts of their body cooler. If they were wearing that suit, but who wants to do that? I don't know. Who wants to actually spend their time that way? Why not go fall in love? You know.
Well, because I mean, I think that it comes to, look, VR is fun, and it's worth looking into, because I mean, we talk about industry, like if you don't do it, someone else will.
Well, I'm looking into it. I'm literally looking into it right now.
The thing is that if you if you don't do it, someone else will. You see me?
Yeah, we're doing a VR salon here this Wednesday, where we're gonna do some tilt brush painting based on different like Instagram photos and images that people are bringing in.
Who's
so we're gonna, a friend Phil who does he's got the Vive.
The Vive.
The Vive. The Vive. The Vive. He's got the Vive. Yeah, so we're doing it in this this design studio on Wednesday.
I think that, yeah, so it's fun. And I think that when it comes down to like this versus reality, I mean, I think we could talk about AR, augmented reality.
Uh-huh.
You know, like,
I'm more in favor of augmented reality. I think I'd rather have it like integrated and dynamic in terms of gestural access points and projectables. So like let's do that, because I think that at least keeps people's attention a little bit freer a lot of the time. And it should be, you know, I'm more of a like it's okay if it's going to be everywhere, but it should also feel like it's not in our faces all the time. You know, I am really fascinated by the VR stuff, by what's happening. As I said, the educational and therapeutic possibilities as well. It's like what you guys are doing. It's really cool.
I think that as time goes on, and this becomes more common, you ask about this versus actual reality, and I feel like it's going to break down like, yes, you've said there's no substitute for actual reality, but if we talk about industry and consumer markets and price points and that kind of thing, I'm certain that theater will stay where it is, and VR will simply replace television. I think that television is to theater what VR will soon be to theater. That is, you know, a replacement, a cheap, easier replacement that is fun and that has its own challenges, you know, and is worth looking at. But because it's more easily reproducible, and it's easily, you know, industrialized and capitalized on, it will be the product of choice for manufacturers and big markets. Whereas theater will continue to be the paradoxical delicacy of the privileged, rich, very poor. You know what I mean?
That's a heck of an outlook, sir.
Well, that's how it is right now, isn't it?
Well, I just want to wish you a wonderful luck with your show. You've had 2 so far. You had like preview and then an opening already.
You an opening.
And the opening went well.
The opening went very well. Everyone's VR worked, and the only mistakes were, you know, good old-fashioned light and sound cue errors, which is no problem.
Hey, it's just people. People flipping switches, running switches, making cues happen, making lights flicker, making the lights inside the people's brains flicker.
Look at me, by all these like mutilated generic cardboards.